Hello art friends, I'm back with another painting today. This time I'm painting this cute dog with oils. You might notice that the video quality is a bit different this time. That is because this video is filmed with my iPhone. I might have broken my camera lens. It's still under repair at the moment, so we'll have to see if it's still salvageable. I might need to get a new one. But anyway, today is actually the third day I've been working on this painting. My painting practice has been very sectioned these days. I primed the canvas. No, I did the drawing, the charcoal sketch on the first day. I used the projector to trace the drawing, and I primed the canvas on the second day. It was my first time using vine charcoal, and I really loved it. It smudges super easily, so it was very efficient for creating a value drawing. On the second day, I just sprayed the drawing with some fixative. And on the second day, I primed the canvas with Michael Harding's non-absorbent gesso. I used the clear transparent one this time so I can see the sketch. I actually ordered the white one, but they sent me the transparent one by mistake, so now I have both. I used 2 layers on this store-bought pre-primed canvas, and I also used fine sandpaper to smooth it out. This primer is said to prevent sinking in. Notice that my earlier paintings using these pre-primed canvas boards, they become dull and a bit darkened over time, likely due to the oil getting absorbed into the surface. So I need a better solution. This product seemed to got a lot of praise. This is my very first time using it, so I can't say how good it is. But I'm glad that there's a lot of support on Michael Harding's website regarding how to properly use it. Even have a Q&A section, so that's very helpful. Oh, and it says this product should be used within 3 months after opening. I find that a bit stressful. I didn't really plan what I'm gonna paint for the next 3 months, so be aware of that. The colors I choose to use this time is not exactly a limited palette, but for me it kind of is. I don't know how and why, but I got the habit of using almost all the colors I have, or at least many more colors than I first intended. But not this time. This time I really stick to what I chose. It might have something to do with the color charts I made recently. I finally decided to take the time to make these color charts recommended by Richard Schmid in his book Prima, Everything I Know About Painting. So I could refer to these charts and see what combination would be the most efficient. Another reason is that I use Procreate to manipulate the reference image. Fortunately, I cannot share that image with you guys today. I found it in the comment section in RedNote, but I couldn't contact the person who took this picture, and I'm not even sure if that's their dog. It might be just a random dog this person snapped a picture of somewhere. The background was like a concrete bluish gray color, the same value as the dog's face. I didn't really like that, so I used the lasso tool to isolate the dog and distort it a little bit, and experimented with layer modes and curves and whatnot. I ended up on a mossy green background. I think it's a super cozy color, and at the same time, it contrasts against the dog's pink nose. So that's how I landed on this color scheme. This step of alternating the reference is, in my opinion, the most creative part, because there's so many possibilities to choose from, and I also have to actively imagine how I want the end painting to look like. Fortunately, I can do this while commuting to school on the bus or in my bed before I go to sleep. It doesn't take a big chunk of my time. I also chose not to start with the darkest dark this time. I think I've read somewhere that John Singer Sargent said you should start with midtones to avoid making the accent in the wrong places, something like that. I don't think I'm quoting it right though. But yeah, I just wanted to try to see how that feels like. I don't think in this case it did much difference for me though. Since my drawing was sealed underneath the primer, I didn't need to worry about losing it. It was just interesting to try a new workflow. I'm also very glad that I have these value scale underneath the glass palette. It helps to judge the value of all the colors I mix. but I'm not a huge fan of placing the mixing palette on a vertical position right next to the painting. I don't know why it hurts my shoulder and wrist. And also some paint have so much oil in them, they would start dripping. I guess I could squeeze the paint on a piece of cardboard so that the excess oil can be absorbed. But I still prefer to mix with a palette knife on a flat surface. Although for filming, I think this is a much better setup. I do want you guys to see how I mix my colors. And this painting was finished within 2 to 3 hours. It might not look like I was rushing, but I absolutely was. I was really pushing to finish it faster. The reason is that we just got a new kitty a few weeks ago. She's about 3 months old. Her name is Bella Goth. If you ever played Sims, you would know about this iconic lady. She's not a very independent cat, which is why I'm really trying to finish this painting in one sitting. She was taking a really long nap inside the closet that day, and I just didn't know how long she would stay there. And I was just about to finish when she woke up, and I barely had time to put away everything before she demanded attention. She is a super sweet kitty. I'm not complaining. Before I continue with more details, I really want to have the background in place so I can better judge the picture as a whole. With oils, I almost always want to paint the background first and then move towards the focal point because I want to compare the value with the background. This time I feel like I waited as long as I feel comfortable, and to get this mossy green color, I mixed Viridian with raw umber. I noticed that both raw umber and yellow ochre are very green leaning. That's why I put them together on the left side of my mixing palette. It's something I've been struggling for a while now. I don't really know how to organize my color palette or mixing space. I used to just squeeze out colors in random places and start mixing with no regards to palette management. And I knew that wasn't a good practice. It can lead to waste of paint and just general confusion. So now I try to be more mindful about how I arrange my colors and where I mix them. I like to have the greens on the left side, and warmer colors like orange, red, burnt umber, they will be on the upper edge. And the darkest darks like blues and purples, they will be on the far right corner. It's good to leave the right side of the palette relatively empty so my right arm can come in and out without getting paint all over the place. And this time I think I did a pretty decent job keeping the mixing space clean and efficient. Here I'm using a soft fuzzy brush to soften some of the edges, and also to give it some fur texture. This brush and the Eclipse extra long comber, they are really amazing at this job. I feel like I'm ready to experiment with more brush shapes and textures lately. I feel like I'm getting quite comfy with the tools I already have, and I want to experiment with something new. Luckily for oil painting, there are endless supplies I can try. I just ordered a few new opaque colors since most of my colors are transparent or semi-transparent. I'm also waiting for some new mediums from Rublev Natural Pigment, which I'm super excited about. And I'm probably gonna try a few other things like filbert brushes, especially filbert brushes with softer animal hair. It's very different from what I've been using since I started oil painting. I've been mostly just using angular and synthetic flats. They make very crisp and clean edges, but more often than not, I crave something softer to contrast these hard edges. And I totally get why most oil painters have such a massive collection of different brushes. After I finished this painting, the next day I took some picture of it and imported to Procreate. I used the hue saturation brightness adjustment to just play around and see what alternative I could have pushed this painting. The green-yellow palette really caught my eye, and it was probably my favorite alternatives. I think it's unexpected and whimsical, and to be fully honest, it's also because it's trendy, or at least the algorithm makes me feel like this is trendy. I don't know. Please let me know in the comments which one do you prefer. So I hope you like this video, and I hope my camera lens recovers. I will be traveling to northern Sweden next month, and I'm planning to visit the home of the Swedish painter Anders Zorn. I would be devastated if I couldn't film there. So yeah, that's all for today. I will see you soon. Bye bye.